Merry Christmas, everybody. And today I want to talk about the greatest Christmas gift of all. And that, of course, no, it's not family or anything like that. It is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, baby. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Oh my God, I love this movie. Let's talk about it. I got the Knuckles thing. But now I want all of it, man. I don't know if Knuckles is my favorite or not. I was in a rush and I chose Knuckles, so maybe he is. I don't know. All I know is that I'm happy with what I got. But my four favorite characters from Sonic are all on this bucket. And this movie was a childhood dream come true. So, am I biased going into this review? Of course, but I would also have been biased against the movie as a fan, right? Because if they messed it up, you would have heard it from me. And I'm safely going to tell you that they did not mess up on this movie. This movie was absolutely stellar. Everything I could have wanted in a Sonic movie, they deliver. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't like flaws. Of course there are. I wish there was more live and learn. That's one thing I will say. But they made up for it in so many other areas and went above and beyond. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, the way they play off of each other, it really feels like we've known them for a while. And like they've really grown to be a trio. The trio we know and love from the games is here alive and well from the very beginning of this movie. Also, Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm not always a fan of like, celebrity castings, but Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog, superb casting. Like he embodied Shadow. I'd almost have to remind myself, oh yeah, this is Keanu Reeves, because he was so perfect as Shadow. And Idris Elba really grew on me as Knuckles by the end of Sonic 2. And by the beginning of Sonic 3, I'm like, yeah, that's Knuckles. Now, I did end up going back and watching the Knuckles show. You don't have to watch that one. But it did show me how far this franchise went. I mean, that show was all about the human characters with the side helping of Knuckles. This one was all about the Sonic characters with the side helping of human characters. And I liked it a lot. The Wachowskis were in it for just the right amount of time. Now, I liked them, but there was that whole wedding part of Sonic 2 where the movie just took huge nosedive. Nothing like that in this movie. It is great. There is a lot of extra time with the Robotniks as humans. You get to see Gerald playing off of Ivo, and it is stellar stuff. The Jim Carrey against Jim Carrey. I mean, you could tell they basically were like, do your thing. And he did his thing, and he did the best thing he could do. And that is deliver what is probably the best performance. And overall, I do wish there was more Shadow in this movie. Is my critique. Is I wish that there was more of him, because it feels like we focus so much on the Robotniks. And don't get me wrong, we get some great, and I mean great, Shadow stuff. But I wish there was more. But my hope is that we will get more. We will get more Shadow, because I understand why they did ultimately decide to focus more on Eggman than Shadow. Again, that's not to say Shadow wasn't a focal point. He absolutely was. In fact, the whole plot revolves around Shadow. But the Robotniks were ultimately kind of the more main. I feel like they got more screen time than Shadow is what I'm trying to say. That being said, it still worked. Even Agent Stone, was fantastic in this movie. All of the characters that were implemented well. Even characters that were kind of annoying in last films were given smaller roles. And overall, I'm very, very happy with how things turned out. This is my favorite movie of the year. And the score was great. And most importantly, I feel respected as a fan, and I cannot wait for Sonic the Hedgehog 4. And I'm going to definitely be talking about that more in depth. Now, I've done 2 live streams, which you can watch on my channel, where I talked about like my first reaction to Sonic 3. And I also went with a friend to review Sonic 3 with spoilers, and we ended up just theorizing, gushing for hours about Sonic 4 theories, and I'm still excited to talk about it. And I think the reason why we talked about that almost more than Sonic 3 is because this movie is so great. You can critique it for sure, but the future has never looked brighter. And so I don't feel like I need to spend my time, let's help this franchise up on its feet. Now it's running and gunning, and I'm just here to support it as it does so. So I'm excited for Sonic 4. I'm excited for I think they're going to do something with Shadow the Hedgehog. Whatever they have next in store, sign me up. Just more of this, less of the Knuckles show. But it seems to me like the creators of this franchise, of the Jeff Fowler and everyone doing the Fowler verse, the movie Sonic verse, like they're very receptive to criticism. And again, it shows because the human characters don't overstay their welcome. They're there for just the right amount. And Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are great, and I can't wait to see the next characters that they introduce into the fold. It seems like they were kind of taking their time building into it. And, I have characters that I want to see in the next one, but whoever they decide to show, I'm there for. And I just want to say, as the end of my spoiler-free section, go see this. Go see it. Great movie. Cannot recommend highly enough. See the first two. You could skip the Knuckles show, though. If you want to watch it, but expect a Wade show with a side helping of Knuckles. But overall, recommend. And get the bucket if you can. Get the bucket if it's not already sold out. It might be. And now for the spoilers. Let's talk about spoilers. So Sonic the Hedgehog does have the death of Robotnik's. I did end up having to watch the scene after on YouTube, but you do see the return of Shadow, which I expected. They weren't going to kill off Shadow. But the Robotnik's, the only reason I would say, if it was the games, I'd be like, yeah, well, Robotnik's back, whatever. But because it's Jim Carrey, and he has talked about retiring, I think it's possible this could be the last we'll see him in for a bit. I don't think we're going to go the rest of the franchise without a return. But I wouldn't count on his return for Sonic 4. What a great ending to the character. And that's, again, why I'm okay with them spending more time on Robotnik's than Shadow in this movie, because this is the end of him. And, again, everything we get with the Robotnik's is great. Like, even that VR headset sequence, oh, my God, that was so funny. This movie really made me laugh a lot, which is one of the things I really did appreciate about it. But it also had a lot of heart, man. There were some moments that really made me tear up. Like, you had the stuff with Maria. As soon as she shows up, it starts playing the Live and Learn riff. I'm like, no, that's sick. Critique, though. Live and Learn could have played for more than a few seconds at the end. Like, we had to cut to Robotnik getting spanked. Like, that joke was like kind of funny, but not funnier than Live and Learn sequence would have been awesome. So give us more Live and Learn. Give us more of the Hedgehog stuff. You don't always need to cut back to the funny moments. Like, let us be in the serious moments for a bit. I get it. It's cartoon hedgehogs. And last time we went super edgy in this franchise, we did kind of hit a few ruts. I get it. People don't want Sonic 06, but there were elements of those games that worked. There was elements that certainly did not. And I think this franchise is learning to find its balance. And I think it found a much better balance in this movie. But there was definitely a lot of comedy, and most of the comedy landed, but there was a good amount of serious moments too. I really do think this is a great tonal balance, but I think it could get even better. But at the rate this franchise is improving, I think we're going to get there. That's one of the things I will say is I was like, how are they going to top this one? But at the rate that they've been improving, they can. I mean, we just got Amy Rose at the end, which means I think we're leading into Sonic CD. I think we might see elements of Sonic Heroes, possibly elements of Sonic 06 in there too. Like good elements, like possibly Silver. People are theorizing. I don't know. I think my gut is that they're going to kind of slowly build. I don't know if we'll get Silver right away. If we get Silver, that means we'll put other characters like Rouge on the back burner for a bit. But I think my thoughts are that we're probably going to focus mostly on Sonic CD with a setup for Silver in 5. But then again, my theories have been changing, and I'm going to save theories for another video. Back to my spoiler-filled thoughts on this movie. I did think what a perfect send-off for Robotnik. That's the thing. If it wasn't Jim Carrey, I would have been like, that's bullshit. You can't kill Robotnik, or he's going to be alive. But my man's gone. For now, at least. Although, if he comes back in Sonic 4, 2 things. One, great. Love to see him. I think if he does come back, it will be, Little Planet is somehow Shadow teleported into Little Planet, which he will then take over with the help of Metal Sonic. Maybe we'll see maybe we'll see more anti-hero Shadow in the next film, working with Metal Sonic and Robotnik. And then Amy has to go, oh my god, they took over my world, come help me, you know. But I also think it is just as possible that if Robotnik is still alive, I will say, then why did you give him more screen time than Shadow? But if it's a swan song, I get it. If it wasn't a swan song, I'll be happy that he's alive, but I'll be like, all right, he can come back for this one, but give Shadow more screen time. That's what I'm saying. Now, I will say I like that a lot. Anyway, sorry, I'm so excited to get into Sonic 4 that I keep stay on this one, enjoy this one. I think the way Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles played off of each other was outstanding, like I mentioned. Really, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just looking forward to more. And I think we're going to get more. And that makes me a very happy fan. You know, ever since I was a little kid, I'd be on the playground with friends talking about, oh, we'll make a Sonic movie one day and Shadow will be in it. And now he's in it. He did it. You know, the first Sonic movie, while great, wasn't the movie I pictured in my head. And feels like we're getting there step by step. And this one, yeah, it didn't have Amy. Well, it did at the end credit scene. But this is the closest we've ever got to that childhood dream movie of mine. And it looks like we're getting closer and closer. And I may be a grown man now, but my kids are going to have Sonic movies. They're going to have, even if the fourth one sucked, they'll have 3 good Sonic movies. And most importantly, this one. This is the best one. And people keep going, oh, it's rare that sequels are like better than the original. I'm like, not in this one's case, because it feels like they're steadily improving. And it's almost akin to a comic book or video games. I would say video games and comics have that in common, where unlike movies, they tend to improve over the installments. You know, the first issue of a comic book series usually isn't the best one. The first video game in a franchise usually isn't the best one, especially in terms of Sonic. Like, you know, Sonic 2 is a vast improvement over the first Sonic, for example. You know, so like the video games they hail from, it looks like this franchise is only going to keep improving. And I'm along for the ride, guys. I'm along for the ride. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And honestly, I've been enjoying this Sonic content. I might make more of it. And I've got some games on the way. Maybe I'll do some streams. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to be theorizing on Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Let me know your thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Let me know what you're looking forward to in Sonic the Hedgehog 4. And whatever else. And I'll see you guys next time. And peace out. And make sure to check out my comic book at RebelOasisStudios.com. Issue 2 is going to be launching its campaign January 3rd. So I hope to see you guys there. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day.